All right, Nick, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and specifically the 2024 NFL draft selections of the Chiefs. We've talked about this multiple times over the last couple of years. The Chiefs are the masters. Since they win a lot, they've been able to find really solid players, late round gems, and guys who kind of fall to them, or either they kind of see something that other teams don't. And they have one massive get here in safety, Jaden Hicks. I think this could have been the steal of the draft for the Chiefs. I know we say that a lot sometimes, but this truly is probably the case here. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it more on the other side. This is from Arrowhead Report. It says the Kansas City Chiefs have done a good job finding value in the 2024 NFL Draft day 3, or the NFL Draft's 3 days, excuse me. The one final one, however, there may not have been a greater example of that than 133rd overall pick. Kansas City landed Washington State safety Jaden Hicks, reuniting him with Jalen Watson in the secondary. The move had as wide as a 66 pick discrepancy between his real life slot and his major consensus on draft boards, signaling how monumental of a steal Hicks has a potential to be. Nick, I think it could even potentially have been a bigger discrepancy than that, depending on whose big board you are looking at. This guy seems like a massive steal for the Chiefs, giving them some excellent selection. L'Jarius Sneed is gone. They need an extra spark in that secondary. This could be just the guy. I'm curious what your thoughts are, but Chiefs fans, in the comment section below, again, let us know. We've talked about the Chiefs draft. We've talked about, who your favorite pick is. What was the pick that surprised you the most that the Chiefs made? Maybe it was you were surprised that they were able to get the person. Maybe it was you were surprised that they were thinking that route. But let us know what pick was most surprising to you for the Chiefs in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about Jaden Hicks?
I think it's probably the biggest value move of the draft. I love PFF's big board personally. That's kind of my go-to. PFF had Hicks as the 54th prospect in the draft, so getting him at 133. I mean, you're talking about a 79 delta there, which is absolutely incredible. You're looking at 2.5 rounds essentially after he should have theoretically gone. You're talking about a guy who was not even I believe the Athletic had him as the best safety. I think you got the report there in the entire NFL draft. I think he was like the 12th safety selected. So you talk about just value to the extreme. The Chiefs have pulled off, I think, the biggest value move out of any team in the entire NFL draft. But then you look at the overall strategy and the mindset behind this here. You talked about Snead leaving. I love the way, or Snead being traded, excuse me. I love the way the Chiefs took this approach in terms of they're not going to go out there and invest a lot of capital necessarily in the cornerback position. They're going to go out there and make sure their front four is solid, right? They did that with Jones, logging him up to a deal. They bring in and draft a safety right here in Hicks to kind of shore up the back end, right? Because it's one of those things, it's a team effort on defense. If you're a little lighter in the secondary as you've been in years past, just switch up the strategy. Make sure you're solid in your front seven and make sure you've got a lot of depth on the back end, and then just play more two safety looks, which Hicks can certainly do. One of the strengths coming out of college is that he was incredibly versatile. He could be single high, he could be two safety. He's predominantly a physical force in the running game, kind of a presence that likes to play in the box, but he can do a lot of things very well. And then you got to focus on the contract element in terms of long-term strategic planning from Brett Veach. So you look at safety, Justin Reid for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going into the last year of his deal. His cap hit this year is $14.25 million. Theoretically, after 2024, Reid will be gone. You look at a guy like Hicks will probably move into a starting role. They'll probably shuffle some positions around to see who will actually end up being the two safeties involved starting. I'm thinking most likely it could go either way, but I really think Hicks and maybe Bush, maybe Cook. We'll see how it all shakes out, of course. But the reality is the Chiefs essentially will save 12, 13 million bucks in cap space next season, which will allow them to make more moves or to make sure they re-sign some of their key veteran talent. So it's not just a good move in the short term in terms of an incredible value, which it obviously is. Credit to Brett Veach and company for doing that. It also keeps an eye on the Chiefs for their long term as well, because they'll be able to replace Reid with a guy next year who will have at least 1 year's worth of experience in the system, a guy who's a good football player, a physical tackler, and they will have now about $12, $13 million of additional cap space to work with at that time. Smart move all around by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Nick, and I think just everything you said, it just makes sense. This is a guy, a well-rounded player. He's They say we listen to, his draft profiles. He's rangy, great in coverage, intimidating presence, strong downhill player. You can hit hard, on the back end of things. So it seems like he's a guy who can kind of do it all and then learn, develop. The Chiefs got him early on before they needed him, but it was a no-brainer choice. Like you alluded to, Dane Brugler of The Athletic, he puts out the beast. The draft is this guy's life. He has been studying draft for the last few years and has been absolutely phenomenal about it. He publishes this Bible that's like 300 something plus pages about every draft pick. He had Jaden Hicks as the number one safety in his safety rankings. The fact that this guy got picked at 133rd by the Chiefs is absolutely ridiculous. I'm so surprised that they keep doing this. The NFL is letting them do this at this point. I don't know what other teams are thinking. If a guy is falling and he has that much talent, that much ability that people see in him, go ahead and just pick him before the Chiefs do. You can't keep giving them this players. They're going to win like 15 Super Bowls in a row while we're at it. But this guy he really seems very impressive to me. He was a freshman All-American, all honorable mention, all Pac-12 his sophomore year as well. He was blocked field goals. He's had special teams plays that he could add on for the Chiefs as well. He was very, deceptive as a returner. Got a 37-yard interception return for a touchdown. This is a guy that can do it all. He has a little bit of everything in his bag. And I think the Chiefs just once again found some really great, depth in the draft. But this time it just fell to them, and they were the ones that were smart enough to grab him up.